The Norfolk and Western Railway owned over 100 M-class locomotives from 1906 to 1961. They were 480 Mastodon types. Today, two survive, number 433 in Abingdon, Virginia, and 475 at the Strasburg Railroad in Strasburg, Pennsylvania. By the early 1920s, heavier and more powerful locomotives had replaced the M's on the main lines. Because of their light weight and slender size, the M's had a useful life until the very end of the steam age, working in rail yards and on local freight and passenger trains where roadbed conditions prohibited using heavier locomotives. In 1952, 433 came from Roanoke to Bristol as a backup engine on the Abingdon Branch. While in Bristol, 433 was a common sight in the rail yard and on the many industrial tracks lacing the Bristol area. Although then equipped with a spark arrestor smokestack, the M rarely traversed the Abingdon Branch. Steam operations ceased on the Abingdon Branch in 1957, marking the end of an era and a way of life. Except for 433, all Class M locomotives based in the Bristol area were immediately scrapped. Number 433, on the other hand, was instead moved to Radford for continued use and retired in July of 1958. In October, the N&W donated the engine to the town of Abingdon, and on November 24th, it was moved to its current location at the junction of the N&W main line and the Abingdon Branch. To this very day, 433 sits at this very location as a tangible reminder of the era when these small hand-fired steam locomotives struggled up the steep, twisted grades through remote mountain communities along the 55.5 miles between Abingdon, Virginia, and St. Jefferson, North Carolina. The Norfolk and Western Railway's Abingdon Branch began in 1887 as the Abingdon Coal and Iron Railroad, or AC&I. The Virginia-Carolina Railroad, or VCR, bought the AC&I at the turn of the 19th century and extended rail service to Damascus. By 1915, VCR trains ran over the 76.5 miles of track between Abingdon, Virginia, and Elkland, North Carolina. The parking lot in front of 433 was the VCR's Abingdon Yard, where equipment was kept, and the railroad joined the N&W main line. In 1916, the N&W bought the VCR, and the route became the Abingdon Branch. The track from Elkland to West Jefferson was abandoned in 1933. The Abingdon Branch's popular nickname, Virginia Creeper, fittingly describes both the steep, twisted mountain route and the speed of the trains. In some places, the posted speed limit was only a crawling 5 miles per hour. In the 55.5 miles from Abingdon to West Jefferson, there were 108 bridges, most made with timber, and no tunnels. In a classic series of photographs entitled A Day on the Abingdon Branch, O. Winston Link captured memorable scenes along this historic route during the final days of steam operations. Some photos from the series are now on display at the Historical Society of Washington County Library and the former N&W passenger station in Abingdon. With the highways and airways unfairly taking passengers away from America's ICC-strangled railroads, the final passenger train on the Abingdon Branch completed its journey in 1962. Over the next 10 years, the Norfolk and Western sought a buyer for the Virginia Creeper, but no prospects appeared. In 1973, N&W testified at the hearings before the Interstate Commerce Commission, or ICC, that the expense of maintenance and repairs along the line had become prohibitive. In 1974, Norfolk and Western successfully petitioned the ICC to abandon the line, effective April 1st, 1977. Despite the ardent efforts of local governments, including a $20,000 offer from Washington County, the last train ran on March 31st, 1977. The final nail in the coffin being a flood that struck the right-of-way that same year. Less than a month later, N&W sold the trestles, bridges, and track steel to a Chicago contractor for just over $400,000, an agreement contingent upon the removal by April 1978 of all the vestiges of the once vibrant railway. The Abingdon Branch roadbed was converted to the Virginia Creeper Trail through a cooperative effort of the town of Abingdon, town of Damascus, and the U.S. Forest Service. Dr. French Moore Jr., a local dentist and then current vice mayor of Abingdon, along with other supporters, obtained an emergency injunction that prevented the immediate removal of the trestles and bridges. But the section in North Carolina was turned back over to landowners upon its abandonment.